Paul here. So I want to do a quick little demo on how to put on 2 mil PVC with SpeedTape onto a built-up countertop. So a customer came to me and said, you know, we're using this material, how do you do it? This is the way I would do it. I would not put the SpeedTape on here. I put the SpeedTape first on your substrate. So I did a quick little build-up. This is some 5-inch SpeedTape. We can slit it down for whatever size you want. So I should slit this down, but I'm not, and I'm just going to do this really quick to kind of demonstrate how it works. What I've done here is I've radiused this corner right here with a 1/4-inch quarter round. And after I radiused it with the router, I then went ahead and sanded it very lightly. And I'm just going to trim off the extra SpeedTape there. Right? So the next step is to take the speed roller and do a light roll on here. Make sure that's firmly on there. And just a minute ago, I did a demo on a straight corner. I radiused this one, but we did one on a straight one, and we got a little bit of puckering here because this material is so rigid, it wants to pop out a little bit. So now I changed the technique to a small radius on here, which I think is going to wrap a lot better. So we're doing a second test on that to see how it works. So now you've got the SpeedTape on. So what you want to do is come in here with the razor blade, with our tri-blade right there, and lay it flat on the melamine. See how I'm laying it flat? That way you're not going to gouge anything. And you come around and you're going to trim off the SpeedTape. Just like that. Trim it all the way off, all the way around. Okay, and I'm going to come down this back edge real quick. Bring it underneath there, less critical underneath. No one's going to see that. Okay, so we got that off. Now, I always like pressure is a big deal when you're using SpeedTape, so I'm going to do one last roll here, real quick, make sure everything's on. All right, the next step, we're going to take our edge banding. Look at that stuff, stiff as could be, all warped. It's not straight this way. It's got all kinds of problems. So we're going to take a heat gun, and we're going to begin to heat it. And we're going to get this stuff to lay flat. And you'll see pretty easy when it's heated up because it will start to relax and lay flat. And I'm going to heat both sides of it, not just one side. We're doing a lot of this. We've actually been very successful putting the roll right here in an oven at about 200 degrees and heat the whole core of the roll up. And that gets a nice heat transfer through the whole thing. And we've done that and it works pretty well. Okay, so you can see that's very relaxed. I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to heat a little bit on this side. Make sure this is soft. And this is a pretty flexible 2 mil material as well. Then I'm going to take off the adhesive liner. And the little trick here is you stab in like that. And if you stab into the corner and pick it off, you can separate the liner very easily from the adhesive. See how I did that? Now, make sure I choose the right side. This is the finished side out. And I'm going to go ahead and lay this on there a little bit proud, right? I'm laying it on there a little bit proud and pulling that over. So there's that. Now I'm going to go ahead and roll it. And now we're coming up to the critical part. I'm going to roll this on really good on this surface before I go around the corner. I want to make sure I got a good bond and nothing's moving. Okay, so now the critical part is I'm going to heat this and I'm going to pull it really hard so there's no way it can pucker like it puckered on this one. So first we're going to heat it all up and we're going to do it really slowly, and then when we feel like we've got it hot enough, we're going to pull. And the reason why you want to heat it up is not just to go around the corner, but this stuff needs to be able to pull straight and parallel with the wood, and it's so warped when they run it through the extruder that it can be a real problem. Okay, so there it is in there. I'm getting it hot on the back side, right there. A little bit on the front side, right there. Okay, so now I'm going to pull. So I'm going to pull this, so I'm stretching it now. And I'm lining it up right here, and I'm pulling nice and hard, because once you get it on that adhesive, you're not going to get it off. And that stuff sticks like crazy. So see how I did that? Boom. Now I'm going to roll it. I'm going to come around over here, I'm going to roll it that way, I'm going to roll it that way, just like that. Okay, and it looks like I got a nice corner. I even could have pulled harder, it looks great, but I cannot emphasize how hard you should pull. Because you want tension to be here so it's pulling it onto it, as opposed to be no tension and it pushing it off. That makes sense. Okay, so we've got that on there. lots of rolling. Rolling's the key to fast edge. And SpeedTape, you want that 5.5 of acrylic adhesive to work into the pores of the wood and really grab well. Okay, so we've got that now. So the next step is we're going to trim it. Now, when you trim this stuff, you want to heat it because it's very, very hard. So I'm going to heat the back side of this, and you're going to see that I'm going to be able to go through there just like butter when you heat it. Get it nice and soft. You'll feel it when it's getting soft. Okay, that seems pretty good. I'm going to put my knife in there, use this as the surface edge. And if I didn't get it right, it's not a problem because I can come back and do it again. Now I'm going to take the quad trimmer right here, and I'm going to go ahead and trim it just like this. Look at that. Isn't that nice? Nice trim job. Just like that, it made it flush completely, nice and smooth there. Okay? And it looks like this end could have been a little bit further, but this trim was perfect. Now we're going to do the top edge. I'm going to show you what happens if you don't trim it. When you go ahead and pull the quad trim apart, it can be a little stiff. See how hard I'm having to push on this? But if I go ahead and heat this up a little bit, it'll trim off like butter. Heat that up. Just there. Put this in there like this. Now look at that. Barely even having to push. It's just really, really nice. Push that all the way in. I'm going to stop about right there because what we're going to want to do is you want to trim this in because the quad trimmer will hit this little edge right there and it could cause a problem. So we're going to do both sides and we'll finish up the detail in a minute. So now we're going to trim this side. Making sure the blade is rubbing against there as a surface right there, and it trimmed up very, very nice. This side was cut a little short, so we're not getting it exactly like we want it, but you can get the idea. I'm actually even molding that around to that just a little bit, but this side was trimmed a little short. Okay, so now we're going to heat this edge up. This is the first time I'm doing this. I'm just really experimenting, trying to learn the techniques as I go along. You can see how nicely that trimmed that up perfectly. And then we're going to come along here. Yeah, when that is just nice and soft, look how beautiful that did that. Just gorgeous. So now I'm going to come back and just do a little more trimming with the quad trimmer. Okay. And then come back like this. Just do the little detail work. Then of course you want to bevel that edge. You can just scrape that edge back a little bit and make it just ease it ever so slightly. There you go. And you wrap that corner really nice. And you can see a tiny bit of puckering out right there. That would be from maybe not enough pressure being pulled because it's wanting to kind of grow back out. So I didn't pull it really hard, and I should have pulled it really, really hard to create as much tension in here to bring that in. We can actually work that out a little bit. Just a little bit of heat, a little bit of rolling. And this should give you a pretty good idea on a couple techniques and tricks to do 2mm edge banding with SpeedTape. There you go. Enjoy.